Hello everyone and welcome back to Timberborn! This is episode 9 of the Haunted Hollow series. It has been a couple of months since an episode on this series came out, and since then we had a recent update, and now you can actually see the stars when it is nighttime in Timberborn. And just to give a quick recap, we have our main water spawner right under here, we have our bad water diversion system set up, and then the water feeds through our main little valley. We have a bunch of crops and then some trees that also grow up. And then our other water source, if you continue upstream, when the drought finishes, we'll be able to see the water come back. And at some point we'll be expanding over into this little bowl area. For now we are focusing on the one we're in. And we've been placing down a lot of tubeways in the recent episodes. Right now we are working our way over to the mine in this area. And the goal is to get a tubeway station set up, that way we can get access to the mine very easily, because we are starting to run a little bit low on scrap metal. And the drought is over, we are starting cycle 10. And not a moment too soon, because we are running a little bit short on wood, which means that we are not quite able to feed all of our engines, unfortunately. And we are relying a little bit on bad water power over here. And the bad water source is now on, and as it fills up, it'll go through here and provide power for both of our systems. And also give us some more bad water to collect, because we definitely need to have that for the dynamite. And then also we started making extract recently. And as you can see, Elevajuth is sitting around. He does not have anything to do at the moment, and the water is returning, and it's also returning through here as well. The new water graphics look really cool. I think this has been a fantastic update, especially for some of the quality of life changes they've made. We can start unpausing some of these deep bad water pumps, and then also we can utilize the new copy settings and then place it on the other ones to unpause it. And right now we're in the midst of a wood shortage. We have just under 100 wood at the moment, but we are doing everything we can in order to get as much as possible. We have a couple lumberjacks over here. They're chopping down some of these dead trees. And then we also have an additional secret water source that is over here. So that's filling this whole little lake up. And it just occurred to me that at some point when we have a bad tide, this water spawner is going to be a bad water spawner. So we'll need to make some sort of diversion system for that. I think the easiest solution would unfortunately be to remove these plants right here and then set up a sluice, and we'll make a little separate tract for the bad water to flow over here. That way we don't have bad water filling up this whole pond. In the meantime, we have 4.6 thousand science, and I'm going to unlock the efficient mine and get that placed at the end of where our tube station is, and then make sure we connect these in. I'm going to bump all these up to normal priority. That way we can make sure we finish this before we run out of scrap metal. We do have another scrap metal pile over here that we're collecting from, but I don't want the beavers to lose sight of getting this completed as quickly as possible. At this point we have 8 vacant jobs, and I'm going to check how we have all of them prioritized. I want to make sure we have at least a few jobs set to lower on the priority list. I think it would be worth moving these inventors huts down to lowest on the priority list, since we currently have the number cruncher up here, and there's plenty of power being provided, which is actually more than we need, which means that we can pause some of these engines and help ourselves by saving on a little bit of wood. Another thing that I'm going to have us start working on is getting some more overhangs over here, because if we can be overhanging this cliffside, we can get some gravity batteries set up, which will be fantastic for getting us some constant power, especially during a drought. During a bad tide we're going to be okay, since we have the bad water spawner right here, but with all these we can lower this on the priority list just a little bit, since it's not quite essential at the moment. Looks like we are currently maxed out on planks. Let's make sure we don't have too many of the lumber mills up and running. And it looks like we do have a few of them, who we can probably pause them for now. Even the beaver in the wood workshop is sitting around. I don't remember where our storage system is set up. Looks like we have part of it set up over here. I think it's worth expanding this, since we clearly have a lot more that we could produce. Overall in food we're doing okay. We have 1.1 thousand food. About 300 of that is berries, and we don't really want to tap into that for consumption. But then the most of what we have remaining is kohlrabi. So we don't actually have that many mangrove fruits or fermented cassavas left over. We do have some mushrooms that are growing over here. And then I want to make sure that we have mushroom storage. So if we hop into one of our storage units, let's take a look and see if we have some anywhere. There is no raw mushroom storage, which means that these guys need to sit around until we can shift all the food out of here into one of the fermenters. And that is a no-no. So let's figure out how we can get some more storage for them. We can conveniently get another warehouse set up right here, and the water is filling up quite a bit over here, and we actually have all of this blocked off at the moment. We have not raised this up quite yet, And then we have these 3 levees right here. If we were to go all the way back here and place down some more levees, this would expand our green space. And we could probably have some trees planted over here, since those would be able to weather a short drought versus the food needs a lot more constant water. And for now, the bad water diversion system up here is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to carve a little channel over here, and then the bad water will go down this direction. We probably should put some irrigation barriers or maybe just some levees over here. That way the bad water can't go over here and start impacting these trees. And thankfully we have access to this area. So let's get some levees laid down right now. The water is going to fall over here, so maybe we need to have some sluices set up also. That way the water can actually leave this area and flow through here. And I'm going to place the sluices closer to this area. That way, if we have a bad tide and the bad water goes through here, when the water returns and it flows out this direction, it's not pushing the bad water back and just having a small pool over here. This should help flush the system. And it looks like the water is just now overtopping. So if we want to fill this up even more, what we'll need to do is get some floodgates placed right here. And then we can have both of these sluices set so that they do not close above the downstream depth, but instead close when the contamination level is above a certain percent. I always drop that down to 2%. That way we aren't impacting our water supply over here, which we're definitely going to be utilizing this for food and I think for wood as well. The beavers are working their way over here, placing down these last few levees, and then I can remove these ones. And as soon as the floodgates and a levee placed right here are complete, then we'll be able to expand our green system all the way back in this area. And right now we have a lot going on. We have 11 vacant jobs. We know we have at least 6 or 7 of those in these inventors huts, and then there are also some other jobs like lumberjack flags that were lower on the priority list. But overall we do want to increase our beaver population. I unpaused one of these breeding pods, but really I think I need to focus on their well-being. We're only at 14 or 15 right now, and that's just not quite as high as it should be. So let's take a look and see how the beavers are doing. It looks like they're lacking on wet fur. Mangrove fruits are okay. We probably could get some more food for them. We should get some more aesthetics since those are fairly easy to work on. Campfire and rooftop terrace are pretty easy. And then we have no fun stuff for them except for maybe a few scratchers. So let's start looking at that now. They are pretty crammed in this corner back here. We could look at getting some tubes going up and then having some fun stuff up here. The only downside of moving up here at the moment is that it'd be hard to get access to it, and so building vertically should solve that problem. So the beavers should be able to make their way over here and then up to place down this tubeway station. We should probably get another tubeway station on the second level and then maybe expand some of the stuff that they can do up here. And if we replace one of these platforms that's a triple with a double and a single, and then place down the tubeway, we give ourselves access to go underneath, and so we can connect that in. We can also connect this one, and then we can utilize the new spiral staircases, and then we can get the beavers up top right here, and then maybe we add in another tubeway station and we just keep building up our storage vertically, and then we can utilize the spiral staircase once again in order to connect this whole system in. And then speaking of tubeways, let's see how they're doing over here. Looks like they actually finished all of this, so now they just need to work on getting the mine constructed. That is going to take a lot of logs. Fortunately, it looks like we do have enough. We're going to be running a little bit short by the end of it. And since we are running a little bit short on extract, I think for now we'll stick with just regular scrap metal. We don't need to bump it up to the efficient recipe yet because that does require extract, I believe. And with us getting this building up and running soon, the chance of injury is high for this, which means we should probably start looking at getting bots constructed. We have not been focusing on that yet. I've been worrying about our food and our wood, which I do think take priority. But now that we have this area, and then as soon as we get this diversion system set up, this will be a great spot for us to get some more trees and get some more food. And in the meantime, we can get some farmhouses set up, and then we can start working on getting some other foods, like getting some canola planted and then also some soybeans planted. We're also going to want to probably level this mountain right here, since this is some valuable green space that we could utilize, but it's not quite being irrigated since it's so much higher than the water level right here. And then we'll need to unlock the double dynamite as well. And then let's reevaluate the priorities a little bit. Right over here is probably a little bit lower on the priority list. And then I think a little bit higher would be getting this farmhouse set up. That way we can utilize time and have some of the crops grow. And then we can just pause this job while the crops are growing. So we have all these irrigation barriers, but we don't really need them anymore since we have the bad water diversion system that will close right here and then pump all the bad water over in this direction. So I don't know why I have not removed these yet. This seems like a no-brainer, so I'm going to start removing some of the ones up top. And as I do that, we have a bad tide approaching. I guess I'll wait to remove the rest of them until the bad tide goes through, because I feel like I should have removed them earlier. Maybe I was just leaving them there because I didn't want to admit that we didn't really need the system with the bad water diversion system up here. So as that bad tide rolls through, we'll see how this whole system handles it. One thing we can do is change these trees to be pine resin, and instead we'll have them set to oak, because the oak trees are much more efficient at producing wood. So we'll remove all these ones and then plant down the oak trees as we can. Let's take a look at exactly how many vacant jobs we can afford to have, because we want to maximize how many useful jobs we have. We have 6 inventors huts, which are all lowest on the priority list. And then it looks like we have 5 lumberjack flags that are low, and then 2 of the scavenger flags that are low. Which means we could theoretically have 13 jobs that we don't have occupied, and we would not be impacting production anywhere else in the colony. So I'm going to add at least one more builder's hut because I want to get stuff rolling. And wow, this guy has planted a lot of crops so far. We can actually pause them for now because they're not doing any more. And I just realized, let's slow this down. We want to make sure we actually have this whole system up and running because there's going to be some bad water coming out of here. So let's high prioritize this and then make sure we high prioritize all these pieces of dynamite. And then we don't have any irrigation barriers over here at the moment, but that is, I think, fine because we don't have a whole lot of stuff that could be impacted by it. I think the worst case scenario, if the bad water is going this direction, is that maybe a few of these soybeans will die, but we'll use this first one as a test run. Unfortunately, the bad water is going to probably impact some of these trees. Not loving that. So even if we do high prioritize all this, I think it might be just a little bit too late. I think we can afford to get another builder's hut up and running. We have this one right here that we just created, and we still have 6 vacant jobs. And then I'm looking down here, and I thought I was seeing a few beavers who were sitting around, but it looks like they might be working now. But either way, we can get at least one more builder's hut constructed right here. And just like that, it looks like they have finished placing down all the dynamite, so let's go ahead and detonate that. And then I'm also going to place down some sluices here. We'll have this one close when the contamination is below 1%. And then we can probably bump this up just a little bit. We'll bump it up to 5%. This isn't super necessary at the moment. This will just be helpful for when the bad tide is through and we want to have water pumping into the system. And eventually, when we can get these last few levees placed down and remove these ones, we want to get the water elevations up higher. That way we can have the water back up over there and get some more green space. We're getting really close to finishing the mine. We have just a little bit of wood left. We have over 150 gears left and then just a few more treated planks as well. We're about 80% done with constructing it, so that should be done hopefully in the next few days. And it looks like we are running a bit low on scrap metal. We only have 100 in total. Only 30 of that is in storage. We have officially run out of scrap metal over here, so we can remove all of these jobs. And then we can look at adding maybe a couple more over here. That way we can boost our scrap metal production for just a little bit before we have the mine up and running. And I'm a little bit nervous to open this up because we're going to be injuring beavers quite a bit. And the bad tide has officially started. It is only 2 days long. So at least we have that going for us. And then we should see some bad water start to come out of here soon. And then these sluices should close. And now it's backing up and the bad water is coming through here just as we planned. Looks like they're actually making pretty good progress placing down some of these levees and some of the sluices. But unfortunately, we're going to get some bad water spilling into here. Thankfully, we'll still have some water falling out, and that should help prevent too much bad water from filling up this area. And then going back to our main colony, we can see the bad water is going up and over here, and we definitely don't need any of these irrigation barriers anymore. And then we can do the same down here as well. And that also means we can expand our planting zone a little bit. We have a few more places we can place some cassavas. Although right along here would be a good spot to get some more showers, since maybe we do that down here. This might be a good place to do some showers, since we know the beavers are lacking in wet fur a little bit, and there's only so much that these 4 showers can do. We could probably get some irrigation barriers placed right along the side here, and then maybe up top here as well, because clearly you can see the bad water is starting to impact some of these crops. And unfortunately, these blueberry bushes are dying off. I think we have some more blueberries down here. Looks like we have a decent amount. Not too many, but we could probably use some more. But we have just under 300 blueberries right now, which means we're in a good spot. I'm not worried about us running out of blueberries at the moment. And if we see this number drop below 200, then I'll get some more blueberries planted. And we do have quite a bit of bad water that is filling this whole area up. And they did finish this, but the floodgates were completed after the water had flowed out of this area. But on the bright side, we have these levees back here that are done. So now we can remove these ones. And then in just under half a day, we'll be able to fill this area back up with water and start planting some trees over here. And another bad tide is over, which means we have some water that should be returning here very quickly. And that is very much going to be needed because we have the bad water that's starting to kill some of these trees. I'm going to lower this all the way down to 0. Then hopefully we can have some water start flowing through here, filling this area up and pushing the bad water out of the system. And then we also have a sluice system that we installed upstream. I kind of forgot about it, but this is what saved us from the bad water flowing in this direction. Before it came over here, and I think that we actually filled all this up with bad water. I guess it didn't quite kill off some mangroves because it was the first bad tide, and the bad water was diluted enough with water that it was not too high of a contamination level to kill everything. But it looks like we have 17 vacant jobs. I'm guessing that we have this mine up and running now. Oh my gosh, that's set to 10. We do not need that at 10 quite yet. Let's drop that to 5. And even then we still have 15 jobs that are vacant. I think we had 13. It was kind of the max at what we could do, which means we need to do a little bit of evaluation. Let's start with pausing one of these builders' huts. And somehow the hydroponic garden is almost dying when we have someone working in here. Oh my gosh, 73% of the way through. Let's make sure we high prioritize these jobs. And then also make sure we have some jobs that are lower on the priority list, but it looks like all of them are either super low or they're normal, which means that as soon as we get above the 13 jobs that are lowest on the priority list, we start dipping into jobs that are normal. We do have one lumberjack flag that is lower. So we're going to set another builder's hut to lower on the priority list. I think we should have one over here that is lower. Or maybe someone over here. Okay, this one's lower. Same with this one. So that is an additional 8 jobs plus the 13. So if we get above 20 jobs, then we're going to have beaver start coming out of the other areas that we don't want them to. And we have a lot of dynamite placed down over here. We can detonate this 3rd level. And there's still plenty of bad water in this system, so it's still pushing through here. It looks like the bad water evaporated out of here, which is excellent news. We have some new trees. This one is at 1%. This one survived at 86, so that's good. But yeah, it looks like it killed off some of the actually pretty grown trees, which is unfortunate. Just a lot of time wasted for them. And we are starting to have some more injured beavers. Looks like we have 11 that are incapacitated now. I don't think we have quite enough medical beds for them. So let's actually pause this for now, since they're getting injured at such a fast rate. And we do have enough scrap metal. We have some more that we can collect over here with these 6 scavenger flags. And then once we run out of this, we can switch the beavers and have them work in here. And then I want to bump these up on the priority list. Let's get these completed now. That way we can have some more space up here that we can utilize. Get their well-being up a little bit. Probably get some medical beds up here as well. And then let's get an exercise plaza unlocked. That's only 400 science, and it does not require power, which means this will be a perfect fit right here. And then we can also get some campfires up here as well. We still have a lot of injured beavers who are wandering about. Thankfully, we are getting these medical beds up and running. And then we almost have the tubeway station fully connected in. And that'll definitely help getting the beavers up and down through here very quickly. We can even fit a couple more scratchers right here. We have a small little 2x2 area that I think we could use for something special. We can fit a roof on top of this, and then also let's get a beaver bust unlocked, and then we can also squeeze in a beaver statue on top. These should help the well-being points get bumped up a little bit. And then we can also squeeze one of these right at the back, and then finally fit a few more of these scratchers right here. And so we do have the water system that's all flowing now. Let's raise this floodgate up to 0.65. And that should start filling this up, and then we'll have some more water back up over here. We should probably get a forester set up pretty quickly. Make sure he has access to both sides. Realistically, I should probably lower this level. That way we have some more green space that we could utilize. Oh, I forgot to put the last levee down right here. So let's get that in and make sure we super high prioritize it. Honestly, we're not doing great on food. We're still hovering around 1,000, and most of that is the kohlrabi. Berries are dropping a little bit, so I'm going to keep an eye on that as we move forward. Thankfully, we have a lot of crops that are up here. Some of them are ready to be picked, some are still growing up. But that does mean we should look at getting some more of the food building set up. We should get the oil press unlocked. That's only 120 science. That is very easy to get set up. And we still have quite a few vacant jobs. We have 14 unoccupied beds. And I'm pretty sure that I unpaused this to be constructed. But overall, we have not gone up in beavers a whole lot this episode. So I'm going to place down another 2 breeding pods. I think that should be good for now. And then focusing on getting some more baby beavers produced in conjunction with getting the well-being points up. Hopefully these should all help to get our beaver population to go up a bit more. And with that, we are going to wrap up today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed getting back into this series. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between this one and the Road to 1,000 Beavers. We're making good progress on that series. Between those 2 series, we're going to have plenty of content moving forward. Plus, on the weekends, I've been streaming, and the most recent live stream that I started was the new Timberborn update. And so that has been happening on Saturdays, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. If you have not checked out the live streams, be sure to do that because it's very fun. We have lots of people interacting. So if you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that like button. It really does mean a lot to me. And with that, we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.